Hello, we're on the bus right now. We're going for the factory right now. So I just want to show you how everything looks around here.
Most of it, I actually know a lot of everybody in here. Back in over at the battery project together, and stopped over and visit you guys. And I've known a lot of guys out. I'm the rep back in the territory for about 4 months now. When we acquired Continental, I moved up to Connecticut to Maine for the past 4 years. So I've been a little missing and anxious, so I'm happy to be back. Thank you for your time. Paul's going to go over the presentation with you of the plant. Paul Woolweaver is the plant manager. With us today, I also have Jake Pultz. I've got Serge Singh. I got Peter Zarconi behind you. I've got Matt Mace from Insulation. He's new to the company.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so excited for you guys being here. I apologize it took an arm and a leg and moved a mountain to get you here. We did this tour about 3 times, so I apologize about that. My name's Paul Woolweaver. I'm the plant manager here. I've been at the plant manager level for 3 years. I've been part of this plant for about 9 years. Okay, I started out here as a production manager, and then I went to continuous improvement manager, and then I got an opportunity to be continuous improvement director for gypsum at Continental and for CERTAINTEED. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our Buchanan story and a little bit about how everything works, and then we're going to show everyone how gypsum's made, and then we're going to actually go out on the floor and we're going to show you how gypsum's made. So this is us right here. This is our ship. We get one of these ships every single month. 45,000 tons of gypsum comes on this. And this is actually natural rock. I'm explaining natural rock to synthetic gypsum so you kind of understand how the industry's going and a little bit about what's going to be happening here in the near future. So I'm gonna play this video.
The first things you see are raw materials. Glass, cast iron, gypsum, ceramics, and many others. Then you see the precise process that transforms these materials into innovative solutions. When you look closely at Saint-Gobain, you see manufacturing expertise, experience, and pride as well. But when you look far ahead, you see what the world will become. A world with a population of 10 billion in 2050. A world in which 9 out of 10 people live in cities. And a planet challenged by climate change and resource protection. When you look far ahead, you see Europe and America. You see Asia and Africa, where millions of people aspire to live better. To be able to take care of themselves, to move around, to work, to have a home. A home that is safe and comfortable, energy efficient, sustainable, and beautiful. And when you come closer, you see that 1 out of 4 Saint-Gobain products sold today did not exist 5 years ago. And that in this future-looking company, there are 3,700 engineers and technicians, material specialists, working day by day on developing ever more high-performing and environmentally friendly solutions. Come closer still, and you see professionals and experts who find every day the advice, services, and products they need at Saint-Gobain. You see 4,000 sales outlets, as well as digital platforms accessible around the clock. Above all, you see customers. By listening to them, we design together today's and tomorrow's solutions found in sustainable construction, renovation, mobility, healthcare, and industry. When you look far ahead, you also see how digital is changing our consumer habits. You can see that the energy transition is changing the way we live and produce. More economical in terms of both energy and resources. And at Saint-Gobain, innovative answers for healthier buildings, greener mobility, and more responsible manufacturing. Ever more daring ways of designing and acting, with one major ambition: to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050. So when you look far ahead, you see a group that is global, but also multi-local, close to its markets and customers, operating in 70 countries with strong brands that inspire confidence. You discover inventive and supportive entrepreneurs, women and men united by strong human values, listening, caring, respectful of differences. You see a group that is changing in depth and adapting its ways of working. Teams that share the same goal to be more efficient in order to better serve their customers, while respecting the planet and those who live on it, who want a place of their own, a safe and comfortable place to live and feel good. Looking ahead, being closer, and making the world a more beautiful and sustainable place to live. This is our purpose. This is what drives us forward.
So, I just can't stress how important sustainability, energy savings, and just trying to figure out how to make this thing last for hundreds and hundreds of years is important to all of us. We regularly are trying our best to figure out how to make this thing go without using the energy that we use today. It is a monumental task and it takes a whole bunch of people, but we're very, very passionate about it. The thing for us that you're going to see is everyone goes, well, this is an old drywall plant. Come on, Will Weaver, it's just an old drywall plant. The way we run it is an innovative technology company. That's how we think about it. And these are all vacuumed, they all got suction on them, and these are big skill saws. And we're going to run that skill saw and we're going to cut board to whatever length you want. We can do 6 foot to 16 foot in this game saw up to 1/4 inch increments. Okay, so we do more special cuts also than anywhere else in the country. And we have a requirement of 1 truck. You only have to buy 1 truck from us of a special cut, whereas other plants are 2 to 3 trucks. And the reason for that is because our customers have to have that in order to survive, so that's where we have to figure out how to get good at that. So once it goes through the gang saw, now it's going to get cut to size, and then these bundles are going to get taped, and then once it gets taped, it gets stuck onto a unit, and it's nothing for us to take this right off of the bundler and not even go to the warehouse, just go straight to a truck and get it shipped to you guys. We only get about half of our orders ahead of time. Half of what we make comes in same day. Any questions on this? We're pretty passionate about it. We love it. We eat it up. We can't wait to get here in the morning, and we just love what we do. So, I'm sorry for being so enthusiastic, but.
So we talk about PPE. A lot of you guys have hard hats, which is good. Steel-toe shoes or closed-toe shoes while we're on the tour is fine. We do ask jewelry, watches and stuff should be removed when we go on the tour. I'm not going to be too picky with the rings, but any bracelets, watches, necklaces, those things, like the watches should be removed, necklaces should be tucked in. We just have an entanglement policy. We're going to be near the equipment, we're not going to be in the equipment, so it's very low risk, but we do ask those things. When we walk through the facility, we go up and down stairs, use the handrails, and the biggest risk down there is fork truck and mobile equipment. Stay with the group, stay on the walkways. We do have some areas where we cross over live traffic. We are 24/7 operation. We are loading 90-something trucks a day out of here, so it's a very busy operation. If for any reason, again, you get separated from the group and you find yourself in an area that you're not sure you should be, the best thing to do is just stop, put your hand up and wave. But I promise you, if you're in an area where you're not supposed to be, someone's going to come to you and say something real quick about where you are and how they're going to get you back there. And they're probably not going to have nice words with you either. They're probably just like, what the hell are you doing here? But they'll get you where you need to be. They'll most likely be calling me, let me know that, hey, your contractors are roaming the plant freely, but we'll get you where you need to be. But don't just try to figure out, hey, if I go around this corner, if I go there, just stop where you are, flag someone down. Like I said, there's a lot of folks down a lot of traffic. Someone gets you where you need to be.
Right now we're going inside the plant right now to look at how do they manufacture all the gypsum board. That's the most important part right now. As you can see, they're loaded with trucks with materials that they use it to produce gypsum board. And this is our guy. He's going to give you some instructions.
All right, folks, so we're going to start at the beginning of the process of actually making the board. We will end out in the yard, which is technically the actual beginning of our process. I'll explain that equipment out there when we get to the end. But one important note, when you look at the layout of the plant, you have our yard operations where the raw gypsum is. That's our mill, that big building there. One thing that's unique about our mill, that's where we make our stucco, right? We turn gypsum into stucco. Typically in a gypsum plant, you'll see most mills are built directly next to what they call their wet end, or their forming area where they actually make the board. And they just have screws and such to get it to the wet end. We actually blow our air using medium phase, our stucco using medium phase compressed air, 800 feet over to our wet end, which is that separate tower you see just over the warehouse there, okay? So that's a little bit unique for us, presents some of its challenges, but Westchester County is just the way we had the footprint and the way we had to make the plant.
Also, what's unique about our gypsum, it's tan in color, so it's not white or gray like you'll see. So when you see our core, it's gonna be a little tannish in color because that's our raw material. Yeah, that's something you see every day.
We actually, that paper comes from a plant in Virginia called Seven Hills, or yeah, Seven Hills, that's what it's called. We actually own that company, so that's part of the Saint-Gobain family. Keep it in the family. When we were previous company, when we were CERTAINTEED, we still got that paper. So that's the paper we've been using in this plant for some time. Our sister plants also use some of this material, this paper, but they also supplement with some other suppliers as well.
All right, so we got the instructions on how everything works right here. We're going inside right now, but we cannot record. So, but at the moment, we just can't record it, whatever the exterior of the buildings. And that's what we're going to right moment right now. We're gonna stop the video in the moment.
Talking about actually a lot about changeovers. That is our claim to fame. Huge driver of that, like he said, is obviously the New York market. You don't really see warehouses down there. We do a lot of shipping directly to job sites, right? The other driving factor for us is our warehouse. This might look big to you. This is the majority of our warehouse here. We can store about 10 million square feet in the plant in general. You'll see some board out in the what we call our old warehouse. But this is where we keep the majority of our board. Now, 10 million square feet might sound like a lot, but you got to remember, we're shipping about 2.1 million square feet a day. We're making about 1.8. So we're turning over some of our products every day and a half. So this warehouse, when you look at some of our sister plants and our competitors, is actually very, very small. 10 million square feet is nothing. I've seen plants that have 30, 40 million square feet warehouses, so they're able to stay on those products for long times, right? Plus their customers have storage space. Ours typically really don't. So that's the main driver behind us doing what we need to do. Necessity, right? Being the mother of invention, we really don't have a choice. We have to. So we're gonna go into our maintenance shop. For now, you don't need your ears. They got a 5S project going on I'd like to share with you folks. We're pretty excited about. One thing about this project is I'd love to take credit for it as the CI manager, but this is basically driven by the guys on the floor. We started our 5S journey about 6 months ago, out on the floor. The maintenance guys saw what we were doing. They wanted to do something. I said, wait, hold on. We want to sustain this one event. They said, we're not waiting for anybody. So having the knowledge and the skill set, they went ahead and started 5S in their own shop, which I love. They're doing it on their own, which is awesome. We're going to help them out with some auditing and sustaining. They unload into the longshoremen into our hopper, and then we feed. This is what we call our.
We cannot record inside the plant. But at least we can see you guys. The view looks like up here. This is the end of it. And if you see this old floating thing up there, how do they unloading the ships with the material of gypsum?
Get another one coming in and cycle all year round.
Plus, we also introduced some recycling in there too.
Yeah.
Which is about 8% you said right now?
So right now we're about 8%. That's pretty good. We're trying to get it up as high as we can. The limiting factor there is obviously paper content, right? So we're always monitoring that. And then just incidentally, for this area, if you've heard of Indian Point Power Plant, it's right there.
So I'm just going to ask, is that nuclear?
That is nuclear. They're actually, I'm from
Aren't they
Pisco.
dismantling
I
that
thought
or
they
something?
closed it, no?
They are. They're in the.
Close. Not producing anything.
It's not
Yeah.
producing anything. They're in the process now of obviously decommissioning. There is Class E waste there that has to be there for 99 years. So there's folks that are still working there, tearing the plant down, making sure that it's still safe, et cetera, et cetera. But where most gypsum plants, like Paul was talking about, were built next to coal power plants, for some reason we were built next to the nuclear power plant. They were the major employer in this general area for a very, very long time. I'm from Pisco, which is basically on the other side of the nuclear power plant, and I'll be 40 this year. That plant has been closing since I was a kid. We never actually thought it would happen. But back in, I think, 2020, they actually started decommissioning. So, kind of a big deal.
You seem normal.
Yeah, we're good. For now. For now. The other interesting thing is, actually, we're here. Paul was talking about how we're on the natural channel. So, we have a decent draft where we can take those ocean going vessels. If it was the winter time, you'd be able to see, because there wouldn't be a lot of things on the street. But right over there, right before the bend on the other side of the river, was the USG plant. Now, Stony Point. So they were slow. Yeah, you'd be able to see. They were slow. They were about 180 feet or so, maybe a little slower. But the real killer for them is they're not in the natural channel. So what they would have to do is lighter their ships or their barges because they couldn't get to the shore. It was too shallow there. And the river keepers in the EPA don't allow us to dredge, right? The Army Corps engineers have to do that.
Why couldn't you use the river and ships or barges for extra storage? After you then get send it down the field?
But then you'll pay my small for the board. That's all
But
it is.
you need the storage space, right?
Kenny, you're willing to, right?
You're willing to pay for it.
Yeah, right.
So too.
So sometimes, and it does happen, there is storage available along the Hudson River for gypsum. For us to ship board is just not economical. But if for some reason, and it has happened, there's an issue here, or we have a couple of barges backed up, we can send it up to Ravina. Queen, which is
Empresa.
up by Albany, where they do not just gypsum, they have a lot of stuff up there. So that is a possibility. It's just more money.
Pero patrón, tú.
Everything's for
Yep.
The almighty dollar.
So go ahead around, I'll show you guys yard
¿Estás
operation.
listo para choronquear?
Huh?
¿Estás listo para choronquear?
Yeah, and then it's gonna go continue on this conveyor so it doesn't go much.
That's the way the plant looks like. That's some of the waste. This is all muddy thing, es gypsum, la llaman yeso. Y
Drop down, or we'll bring drive board here. The folks will come in with a front end loader, that's the track marks you see. They'll grab it from the bunker, to bring it up to our yard. From there, we'll go ahead and crush it, run it through our trommel, separate out the paper. Clean gypsum goes into our process reclaim pile, right back to the wet end to make more ready. 0% landfill, again, 0% landfill leaving this site.
The whole entire.
What are you doing with the paper? What's happening with the paper?
Everything. So we'll also send incineration. Nothing ever goes to the
I'm gonna explain, yes, and I'll explain that when we get to the mill, when we go through it. Yes, that is a concern.
That's a huge.
But not only the gypsum.
te hablo ahorita cuando salga de aquí de la...
Even our non-processed
de un tour
waste,
que
we're
tengo por
actually
acá.
the first gypsum plant that I'm aware of in the state. They're going waste to energy with all of our waste produced on site. So scrap label, papers, just pallets, things like that that you accumulate in a manufacturing site. We actually separate our waste and all goes waste to energy. Our paper scrap and shred rates the energy plant down low. And we're actually pretty excited about that. Financially, it makes a lot of sense, and also for carbon footprint, right?
This is the factory. It's very impressive. Those are the ovens, the heaters that make drive all the driveway in there.
Rent boilers, and you can burn into a whole bunch of diesel fuel to do that. To the tune of hundreds of gallons of diesel fuel a day, right? What we've done, and a lot lot of folks have done this, to be fair, is we actually installed a heat exchanger. So what we actually do now is we'll pump our city water over here at whatever temperature it is. We'll throw it through our heat exchanger, which is using the heat recovered from the dryer that you guys saw. We'll heat the process water to the temperature that we need it, pump it back to the wet end, use that in our process, as opposed to running a boiler and burning all that diesel fuel. So just another thing that we're doing. This was actually upgraded a few years back to give us even more capacity. So now we don't have to supplement with diesel at all. All our water, all our processed water that needs to be heated is heated using this system.
Have fun?
Hello! Well, it's going to happen because it's a natural rock, certain impurities. It just so happens that in Spain, that color.
So that comes from Spain, basically, right?
Correct. So I'll explain the mill to you guys because we just finished with the process, and it'll be a little backwards, but then I'll go into the yard. And we can talk a bit about circular economy. So the mill that Paul was talking about that's very unique is that mill there. That's serial number 1 that he was talking about. That's an impact mill. The diameter of that impact mill is about 16 feet. It's a very big impact mill. And if you can imagine, there's essentially a rotor in there with hammers that are about the size of my arm and about as thick. And what's unique about this process is that we're flash calcining. You can see that tube, that big tube that's coming, and then the mill underneath it. So how it works, we feed the gypsum in, it falls down essentially through our WTW and our weigh belt into the mill. We flash calcine it 900, 400 degrees. Then it gets grinded into that mill, and then it gets sucked up using our mill fan through our system. It has to go through a classifier, which looks like a big cone set to certain sizes. Whatever's over will get rejected back into the mill until it's properly sized, and then sucked up through a hot back house, a cooling screw, or a set of cooling screws, a cool back house, and then we blow it over to the wet end, like I explained to you guys. Residence time in that mill is very, very low, so you're getting like one chance to cook it, one chance to crush it essentially, and then it's up and through. A lot of the plants we use big ball mills and such, CP mills, etc., etc. This gives us a lot of flexibility. We're able to go between FGD and natural rock, like Paul explained to you folks, but it's not as gentle, right? So we have to be very, very scientific about how we're doing it. We have several operators out here, and then a mill operator that's sole purpose, again, is to make sure the machine's running and quality testing, right? He's doing tests at regular intervals to make sure where we need to be particle size-wise, moisture-wise, etc., etc. Any questions about the mill before we get into the yard?
Now what is this here? Okay, that's the runoff or?
No. Our footprint here is after it comes from the yard, it comes into the A-frame that's behind the crusher building. We can either feed directly from that building, because that building only holds about 10,000 tons. We get 45,000 tons at a time, so some of it has to go into the yard. Our footprint here allows us to hold 100,000 tons, so about a little over 2 ships worth of material if we needed to. So outside we have our storage of gypsum. We'll feed directly into the crusher building. It'll send it onto this belt. That's our process reclaim pile. So after we break up any board that we make, or perhaps you folks send back to us, the gypsum that we end up getting from it looks like that. We feed it in at whatever rate we're feeding at that particular time. It goes onto the same belt, and then it goes through the same process that a normal gypsum does. Our reclaim will get crushed, our reclaimer board that we accept will get crushed with a dozer. It's ran through our trommel, which is that big screen there. It's just a screen with a certain size holes throughout it. The heavies are the gypsum. It goes out one belt. The lights are your papers. It comes out the other. The paper we'll grab, we'll put it back onto our reclaim pile. We'll run it through the process again until it's small enough to go into our mill. And then we'll keep moving all day long.
That's called a Norba?
What's that?
That's called a Norba?
The trommel? Oh, it's pretty old. Yeah. It's a pretty old trommel. Reclaim hoppers there. FGD feed or gypsum feed hoppers on the other side of the crusher building. Then out here we have our local dirty operators, which is the same as our mill operators, the same union of these. And then the operators that you saw inside our teams just local 4, 5, 6 folks, and they run the actual equipment out there. Yes, in this particular facility, all management is not used, but I want to track it right. So, as it relates to circular economy, and we can jump in if you'd like, we have taken several loads from some of our customers, and they brought in typically by dump truck. Somebody asked earlier, are there any problems with construction waste coming in? I just want to be clear, any gypsum, absolutely not. So, cutouts for windows, doors, dunnage even, maybe from if you guys have yards and such, separators that we put in that are made of gypsum, we can certainly accept all that material. But we please ask for clean gypsum. Sometimes that's a bit of a struggle on job sites. Metals in particular, non-ferrous metals are a problem, and wood. We have magnets throughout all of our belts that will pick up anything that's magnetized, but again, those non-ferrous metals aren't going to work, and woods in particular, they do create havoc for us. We've had railroad ties coming through. So yes, so that's the one ask that we have. We partnered with some pretty good folks for recycling and such from down in Brooklyn. They've been pretty good about it, and we've taken some back directly from customers. Haven't had really any huge complaints, but if we start to see wood or metal, it is going to cause some issues on our line.
I was going to say, you're going to have a sheetrock screw in some, and then some of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're very...
With the magnets.
A lot of times it's hard to pull it out of there also.
Yeah.
So that's why we want it to be dunnage or stuff that's been returned or it's been beat up in the yard or it's moldy. We're partnering with a company right now. They've been putting a container or dumpster at a job site and it's for gypsum only. Then they take it back to the recycling yard to go through it.
And they sort through it.
And then they sort through it.
Yeah.
Just sell it to you.
Not selling it to us currently, but I'm sure we'll work out the business end of it.
Yeah.
That's all that stuff good. Obviously, that stuff true.
So somebody asked about the ponds. Obviously, the way we're set up, we're a little bit uphill. We have our gypsum here. We obviously don't want any of that stuff getting into the river, right? This is New York. I live in New York too. I don't want the river being messed up. Nobody does. So what we have is our settling ponds next to our yard. And even on the other side, back where that bunker was that we were standing, there was a settling pond back there. So any rain runoff will have to go through the settling ponds, which have sand filters that eventually feed to our outfalls. So every so often we'll clean them out. So the only thing that's actually going to the river is runoff from rain. So we want to make sure that none of our raw material actually ends up hitting that river. And then obviously we have folks that we test regularly. We have outside companies come and test regularly our outfall. But somebody asked that question, that's what they're for. This isn't processed water, we don't use it. Any questions about the mill or yard that I can answer, or circular economy? We got one more stop, it's outside. I'll explain shipping a little bit, and I'll turn you over to Pete, and that'll be it.
That's great. That's a big ass sign, that's for sure.
There is, and Nova Scotia, actually a little bit north, is where this plant used to get some of this natural rock. That mine's not exactly turned on right now, and Saint-Gobain doesn't own it. I could foresee a situation where either us
has this gypsum mine, and they're mining it for agriculture, for manufacturing, for all different industries. Well, there's a byproduct called Spanish fines that there's zero use for, and that was going to a landfill. So what we did, correct? So what we did was we took that material that was normally going to go to a landfill and fill up landfills, and we started testing it and seeing, can we make it work in our product? And we started that process about 3.5, 4 years ago.
We started actually in 2018 testing it.
Okay.
2019, 2020 we started.
Okay. So we took a product that would have been going to the landfill and reusing it. So that's how we're still getting some LEED credits, because we're taking something that would be going into waste.
Okay.
And then now actually taking it and utilizing it and having a use for it versus going into landfill. So going into that whole circular economy, so we're taking that, we're trying to prevent things from going in the landfill. We're trying to keep it all in the system. And
well, for us to have loaders that, drivers that will come in, they'll come to our yard, grab their paperwork, grab a load, they'll run out. Our loaders will be going, see there, that gentleman that's actually getting live load, but that's pretty rare for us. I would say 90% of ours is actually
level line or aqua bead. How many people have, well, Q can obviously, you guys have seen no coat, heard of it, used it, sold it. The people who are not Cucan, who has ever heard of who has never heard of no coat? That's the question. Everybody here has heard of this? That makes my job easy. Do you guys use it?
My favorite.
That and level lines? Which one do you like better? Do you like level line? All right, so I'll tell you a little quick rundown real quick.
That one is garbage.
No coat has a copolymer corner, very flexible. You can bend it back and forth. That's the benefits of it. It's got paper tape on the back here where, you know, you can hit this with a baseball bat. It's impact resistant. One positive thing of using no coat and/or level line is it will not crack once everything sets, the building sets, moves, whatever. So there's no callbacks later on. A huge thing for most people in our industry that, you know, really saves a lot of money on the back end. A couple of the products, obviously the sticks, no coat sticks, everybody's seen those. They come in 8, 9, 10, and 12 foot. No coat rolls, we have the 325, which is basically no coat coming out of a roll. 325 means 3.25 inches wide. And we also have 450. So these are good for inside, outside angles, off angles. That's where you see these used the most. Moving right along, we also, with the no coat family, we have an arch product. I don't know how many of you have seen the arch product, but it's basically a no coat stick that has the slits in it and it allows it to do that arch with it gives you the perfect corner finish there. This is becoming more popular and, you know, everywhere I go that I introduce this to people because they don't realize we actually use it, we actually make this. Bullnose. Again, we don't sell a whole lot in the Northeast, but when a job does call for bullnose, maybe a mental institution or some sort of hospital where they can't have sharp corners, no coat makes an awesome bullnose product as well. Final thing is L trim. Instead of using your tearaway bead around soffits, or soffits, windows, returns, all that stuff, we make an awesome L trim. If anybody has not seen this, I'd be happy to come out and give samples on site, show you guys how to use it. That's what I'm here for. I'm more hands-on in the field, out there working with you guys. So, real quick, the other product we have is Level Line. Level Line stick. It's basically the little brother of no coat. A little bit cheaper, a little less on the paper flange there, a little less length on both sides. You see this more in the residential, you know, multifamily kind of spaces. You don't really see this in the high-rise commercial stuff. But Level Line is a great product too if you're trying to save a little money and also get the same kind of impact resistance and everything that no coat offers as well. This also comes in 8, 9, 10, 12 foot sticks, and it also comes in rolls as well. Same thing as the no coat. We are, sneak peek, we are coming out with a wider flange Level Line stick. It's going to be a little bit smaller than the no coat stick, but it's going to be bigger than what it is now. That's going to be rolling out here in a couple months. So you guys won't notice the difference unless you use it all the time. You'll be a lot more happier when you're out in the field, trust me. The last thing is Aquabead. Again, Northeast isn't very known for its Aquabead market. What it is, it has a spray adhesive on the back here. Spray it down with water. It takes about 30 seconds to start getting tacky. Put it up on the wall, put it up on your corners, and then you can do 2 coats of finish, and that's it. No compound underneath, so it does save on compound, but you see this more down in the south. We sell a lot more down in the south. This also comes in L trim and bullnose as well. If that's something anybody here is interested in, you guys all have my card and brochure there. Call me anytime. I'd be happy to come out to the job site and show you guys everything that I've got in person. I also have, one thing I also have is it's called the No Coat Pro machine. This machine is popular if you're doing cookie cutter, multifamily homes, whatever. But basically what the machine is, you put a roll of the No Coat Pro, which is a little bit smaller than the 450 and a little bit bigger than the 325. Comes in a roll, hangs on an arm in the back of this machine, feeds through the machine, what the machine is able to do is save you time, effort. If you have, like I said, the best practices for it is cookie cutter places where, let's just say I have a 2-bedroom apartment and a 3-bedroom apartment, and there's 50 of these and 50 of these. I know all the angles and all the corners in these apartments are the same. So what I'm going to go do is put all these corners and angles in, the lengths in, the quantity. You can do 99 lengths, 99 rows, and you can save up to 10 different sets of numbers that you want to do. So you have 10 different types of apartments that you're doing, you can save up to 10, so you don't have to go back in and keep retyping in these numbers. So, but what it does is spits it out, put it through a hopper, it comes out mudded. All you do is take it out, put it up on the wall, roll it once, wipe it down, one more coat, and that's it. Saves you a lot of time and energy, a lot of effort, saved too. A lot of headaches, and the only part that it cleans, or that needs to be cleaned, is where the hopper is. There's a little sill pan underneath that. You just pull it out, wash it with water, wash the hopper out, and that's it. If anybody's ever interested in a demo of that on site, I'd be happy to do that too. Again, please reach out to me at any point, and I'll be happy to get out. I don't want to take up too much other time because I know it's been a long day for a lot of people. So. Again, my name is Jeremy, and please call me anytime if you need anything. All right? Any questions?
Thanks, Jeremy. Once again, thank you everybody for coming today. Paul covered basically most of my presentation. He keeps on upping his game on his presentation. So basically, I'm here to let you know thank you. We're here to support you guys. Any questions on projects, submittals, different equals of products. Shaft liner, sheathing, glass mat, mold face. As you can see, we're pretty custom here. We can do custom lengths for you guys, 1 truck minimum. So all of a sudden you got a job that's 8 foot 3 1/4. We can do that for you guys. Typically our lead time on special cuts is about 2 weeks. We're sitting there right at about that star.
Yeah, just about there.
Okay, so yeah, we're sitting at about 2 week lead time on that. So a lot of times the big part of it is getting entered into the system if it's like we haven't done before, because then we have to create a whole thing in the system. As a manufacturer, what can we do to better support you guys? Anybody have any questions? Anything that problems you guys are running into? Things we can help you with? I mean, we're here to support you. I mean, I know I've met a lot of you guys over the course of the years in different industries. Also, when I work for the companies, I pride myself in customer service. There's one person in here who was buying a competitive product of mine at one point, and he was in dire need. I happened to be in an office, and I delivered it to him. I'm all about customer service. There's no company out there that's perfect. There's gonna, from time to time, there's gonna be an issue. I'm on the job site. I'm there right away. I'll return the phone call. I'll show up. I mean, that's how I met the Sutton brothers initially. Was years and years ago, probably going back about 8-9 years ago on that one job site, right? Yeah. Going back, it's the first time I met you guys. That's what we're here for. How do we set ourselves apart? How do we set ourselves apart from our competitors? Being innovative, being there for you guys, being the team, being a teammate. That's what we want to be. We want to be a partner in the business. I mean, I've known Michael forever. Scotty even longer, because I work for Chicago Metallic, and I don't know if I called on you for trucks or not, but back in the day, years and years ago, I worked for trucks. Yeah.
Every time I loaded my truck, and for somehow the white side, the face of the sheet, right, it's always the paper coming off.
Oh, wait.
And it start rolling up. Every time I pull the boards out of it, when they're all together.
Okay.
Why you guys don't make the paper a little bit more stronger?
Why don't we make?
Because the face is white, and sometimes when you rip you pull it up out of the truck, and then it start rolling up, and then and I was wondering why the paper is. Huh?
It might not be his board too. Well, it could occur, but I mean,
they all come down to just a certain anomaly that happened at the plant. Every manufacturer's gonna have issues.
Sometimes some of the drywall is fine, but some of them it's kind of like the paper is so thin or not strong enough. Something's wrong in it.
It's always the same paper we're using, so like something could have happened, whether it's us or somebody else. It could have been something that happened in the process, where you saw how the whole process and what's actually involved there. It's not a simple process.
It looks like the paper is kind of weak or something.
Anytime that you do find an issue and it's raising concern of yours, we want to make sure every piece of metal that you get is up to your standards and our standards.
Sure.
The best thing you can do is if something like that happens, take a picture of the issue that you're seeing. If you can, get the run code so we know when the date that it was manufactured. Because Kukin does bring it in from a lot of it from this plant, but other plants as well. And looking at the run code, we can identify which plant it came from, and we can get that to the plant if there's anything going on.
Send the email info here.
And then the picture you send.
Or pull me up, text me,
and you can
call me, first call me, let me, hey,
Okay.
go on and say, hey, Pete, I'm running into this issue, and I'm gonna say, hey, can you take a picture of that, and also can you get the run code on there?
Yeah.
Because then I'm gonna turn around and go to Paul and Serge, because those are the two people I reach out to.
I always tell my guys try to keep it all together and pull them both away, but because every time you pull a board out of it, it starts ripping the paper and roll it up. Something weird with the paper.
And the only way we can help you is if we know about it.
If we know about it. Unless we know about it, there's nothing we can do to address it. So like I said, I mean, the first thing I do is you reach out to me, I'll ask you for that stuff, and then I turn around to Serge and Paul, the plant manager and the continuous improvement manager, and I put it in their hands. I say, okay, here's the run code. Were there any upset conditions?
Are you guys selling to Home Depot?
No.
What? I'm gonna check it out. USG is that
USG
right?
is Home Depot. We sell a little bit to Lowe's, not New Jersey.
Oh, okay. So I gotta check which brand is that.
So if you're going into Home Depot, it's going to be USG.
I haven't even paid attention which brand it is, but I'm gonna pay a little bit more attention. Make sure it's not CERTAINTEED.
Yeah.
This time of year too, the humidity is
The humidity,
factor. I mean, the plant has to count for so many different factors of what's going on.
All right, good to know. Bueno, mi gente, esa es la conclusión del tour que tuvimos aquí en la factoría de CERTAINTEED, donde hacen la tabla de yeso, tabla roca como le llaman. This is the end of the tour. I just want to show you guys how everything works around here, and let me show you a little bit. There you go. Thanks for watching.